So what does Sean O'Malley do now? What happens to the Suga show? I think the Suga show is done. I think now it's Sean O'Malley without the show, right? The Suga show is essentially like the superstardom of Sean O'Malley. That's kind of how I looked at it. The flashiness and the character and all that sort of stuff. And the UFC forcing O'Malley on the fans that he is a superstar and you're going to like him. It became very inorganic. So what happens to him now? He just lost for the second time to Merab in a title fight that I think should not have happened. He should not have gotten a media rematch. I'll go even further than that. I believe that was one of the worst things that could have happened in O'Malley's career. He fought Merab the second time when he was not ready to do so. Not ready in the sense of injuries and stuff, but he just wasn't skilled enough. He wasn't good enough to fight Merab again. There's a reason why most champions don't get an immediate rematch, and they shouldn't. Fighters get better when they face their peers. When they go up against the other best in the world with different styles, they become better after. You saw that with Merab. Merab fought Umar and he became better. O'Malley fought nobody and expected to win the rematch off of the same thing he did the first fight? Well, that didn't work, and of course it wasn't going to work against a better version of Merab. Therefore, he got beat even worse. O'Malley was not a long-reigning champion. He only had one title defense, and his rise to the top of the rankings was a very rare rise. Like, he didn't beat anybody until he fought Jan. No ranked wins until he fought the #1 contender in the world. How did that happen? And that fight arguably should have went to Jan. There's all of that stuff. And for a fighter who prided himself on being undefeated for such a long time, he was doing the whole "I'm still undefeated" thing. 0 losses. He was doing that even before fights. After he lost to Chito Vera, he took the no contest against Munoz as if he won the fight because he believed that Munoz didn't want to be in there anymore, even though that's incredibly delusional given the fact that Munoz won the only round that was scored of the fight. Why would he want to wait out of the fight that he was winning? O'Malley was very proud to be undefeated and have absolutely no blemishes, no losses, draws, or no contests. So how's a fighter who is so proud to be undefeated, proud to be champion, and proud to be a superstar, when he loses all of that, how does he stay confident? It's very difficult because for a competitive fighter at the top level, going forward, he knows now that he will never be the best and he will never even get the opportunity to be the best. He will never fight for the belt again. As long as Merab is on top, he will never fight for the title, and Merab is going to be on top. It seems like for a very long time. And a lot of fans are wondering about this with Sean O'Malley too. Did his confidence get shot by losing to Merab the second time and by submission? He got finished. I see a lot of fans saying that he should move to featherweight or he's not going to be the same fighter or he should retire. I'm not going to say that he should retire or anything like that. He lost to the best in the world, right? But I don't know if he is going to be the same fighter. The mental battle after losing a fight like that and knowing that he'll never be the best, he knows that Merab is always going to be better than him. While fighting these other contenders, it's very easy to start questioning yourself, like, what's the point, right? He was already champion. In his eyes, he was undefeated for a long time. In his eyes, he saw that Merab was his first loss. It wasn't Chito. He believed the Chito fight was a fluke and didn't look at it as a loss. He believes that his first loss was to Merab, and he lost to him a second time. Now, no excuses. How does a fighter like that stay motivated to keep fighting the other best fighters in the world? I don't know. It has to be for the love of the game. He has to just love fighting. Like the Max Holloway mindset. Just a straight warrior's mindset that he will fight forever. It doesn't matter if it's against the best. He's going to fight. O'Malley's mentality is different. He has more of a business mindset. I mean, he said it before. He won't fight the top guys until he gets paid to do so. Max would never say that. Like, Max will fight those guys regardless. And I'm comparing him to Max because Max lost to Volkanovski 3 times, but he kept going and he kept beating everybody else. That's the kind of mentality that O'Malley's going to need, which I think is a shift from his original mentality. Staying undefeated, being champion, being a superstar, making money. These are not like the forefront of Max's mindset. Maybe making money, of course, every fighter wants to make money, but Max thinks about the sport differently. Like he said, if he was fighting over 2,000 years ago, he would be in a coliseum. He might have been on a battlefield somewhere. It's different. But he was in a similar position. O'Malley's different. Like, he thinks about the sport differently, it seems like. He looks at it almost like a businessman and as an athlete. He'll never make the same kind of money as he was when he was a champion. This is true for 99% of fighters. Unless you're Conor McGregor, Brock Lesnar or something, like, you're not going to make as much money when you're not a champion. With Merab on top, he'll never reach that pinnacle that he was at because there could only be one best. There's only one champion unless John Jones is there. And the champion, 99% of the time, is making the most money. Not only that, if you're not the champion, you're going to make less money than when you were as a champion. O'Malley's very smart. He's a lot more business savvy. So honestly, I don't know what he's going to do. O'Malley's made so much money that I don't even think he has to fight anymore. He's in a lot more of a comfortable position after making so much money, after becoming the champion. It makes it a lot harder to bounce back after losing to the same guy twice and knowing that you're never going to fight for the title again. It's very easy to think, like, what's the point? Why would he continue to fight the best? The only way I think he continues to fight the other top fighters and evolve is only through his competitiveness. That's the only way. And I see a lot of fans are like wondering what the confidence level of O'Malley is going to be like after losing to Merab again. And honestly, I think it's the biggest thing moving forward for Sean O'Malley. He has to stay confident and find another motivation, whatever it is, to continue to fight. Hopefully O'Malley has that same kind of like perseverance mentality. If he just tries to beat everybody else, he can eventually get to that title shot. Even it could be delusional in a way, because I don't think he's ever going to fight Merab again. At least it will allow him, if he just tries to beat everybody else, he can eventually get to that title shot. Even it could be delusional in a way, because I don't think he's ever going to fight Merab again. At least it's the motivation to keep him moving forward, that he will eventually get that Merab trilogy. He'll eventually fight him for the third time. If he beats everybody else, if I could just beat Jan and beat Umar and Sandhagen, then they would have to give me another shot. That seems to be the mentality, to at least put him on the pathway to keep him at his best. But in my opinion, man, I just don't think he beats the other top guys. They're all evolving from fighting each other. And O'Malley fought Merab twice, losing both of those. And he just doesn't have enough experience against other styles of opponents at the highest level. He's only fought 3 guys at the top. Only 3 fighters there. Merab, Aljo, and Jan. That's it. Like, for an example, man, like Jan fought Figueiredo, Yadong, Merab, O'Malley, Aljo, Sandhagen. Then Corey Sandhagen fought Figueiredo, Umar, Yadong, Jan, Dillashaw, Sterling. Those guys all keep getting better. And Umar's about to fight other top contenders and evolve. And because of that, Umar is going to be a nightmare when he fights for the belt again. And now Sandhagen is also going to fight Merab. And I think he does better than O'Malley against Merab. I want to see Sean O'Malley progress as a fighter. Just fight the best in the world. I hope he continues to fight. Hopefully it doesn't detour him from continue fighting. And for a long time too, we want to see this guy keep going. If he wants to try featherweight, that would be cool too. Although I don't think it's the best move, honestly. I think he gets beat there even easier because he loses a lot of the advantages he has at bantamweight by moving up. The reach, the height. At featherweight, a lot of those guys are similar in length. I mean, even the champion Volkanovski has the same reach as O'Malley. And that's not the same thing at bantamweight. O'Malley has a natural advantage that he does very well with in that weight class. So I think he'll get destroyed in featherweight, honestly. Like, I can't see him stopping the takedowns of Volk. Striking with fighters like Yair and John Silva and Diego Lopez, like, it's a very different dynamic. Maybe O'Malley can build more muscle and he'll be more powerful up there, but I honestly don't think it's the most successful move to do better in his fights. I think he's better at bantamweight. I honestly think giving Sean O'Malley this immediate rematch was a mismanagement of what is the Suga show. He should not have been offered an immediate rematch. Not only was it not good for the bantamweight division, but it also wasn't good for Sean O'Malley because that exhausted his last title shot. And by not fighting someone else, going straight to another Merab fight without fighting any other of the top contenders, doesn't give him the opportunity to get better before fighting Merab. He should have fought someone else. He would have a way better chance at beating Merab if he fought guys like Jan again, or Umar, or Sandhagen, the fight everybody wanted to see. Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. And if he beat 1, 2, or maybe 3 other top contenders, he would have been exponentially better to fight Merab in a rematch. But because they gave him an immediate rematch with no other fight after losing the belt, he didn't get better. It got beat even worse the second time because Merab evolved. Merab's striking got a whole lot better. And now he's a submission threat on the ground. Because unlike O'Malley, Merab actually fought Umar. He fought arguably the second best bantamweight in the world in a very good fight and beat him, which is only going to get Merab at that next level. And you saw that in the rematch with O'Malley. O'Malley did the same thing he did in the first fight, and it didn't really work that well in the first or second fights. What that shows is he didn't have anything else to work off of. He did what he does best. In both fights, he had the same kind of fighting style. And both times it lost him the fight. He didn't hurt Merab. He wasn't winning most of the rounds. There is a comparison to Adesanya, who also got an immediate rematch, and he also had the fight with Alex to work off of. But the difference was, what worked in the first fight for him won him the second fight as well. He rocked Alex Pereira in the first round of their first fight, and the way he knocked him out in the second fight was very similar to that exchange, but did it earlier in the round where Alex wasn't going to be saved by the belt. So he did something from the first fight, brought it into the second fight, and won because of that. And also in the first fight, he was winning most of the rounds. O'Malley lost most of the rounds to Merab, and he never hurt Merab in that fight. Merab fought Umar, got better. Alex did not fight anybody after beating Adesanya. They fought each other immediately after. So he didn't get better by fighting some other contender first, like Merab did. I think if Merab fought O'Malley the second time and never fought Umar before, he wouldn't have been as good as he was. I don't know if he ever would have got him in that submission. I don't know if his striking would have been as good as it was. Imagine if they fought like 4 months later and O'Malley wasn't injured. I think we see the same Merab from the first fight, or at least a similar version of that, with some fine tuning in some of his skills. Do you know what's the best example of a fighter who lost to the champion the first time, reinvented himself, evolved, and fought him again and beat him? That was Henry Cejudo. The way they went about Henry Cejudo was the way they should have went with Sean O'Malley. He fought Demetrius Johnson and lost by a first round TKO. A way worse loss than O'Malley's first one against Merab. Then he fights Joseph Benavidez, another top contender, and before this, the only top contender he fought was Jussier Formiga and won by a split decision. Nobody else he fought was highly ranked. I don't even think any of them were ranked, except Jussier Formiga. So he lost to Joseph Benavidez by a split decision, then reinvented himself. So off a 2-loss streak, he goes and trains with the Pitbull brothers and uses that karate stance for a striking and then knocks out Wilson Hayes with an insanely precise right straight. A punch he didn't throw the same way when he fought Demetrius the first time and before. Then he fights Sergio Pettis, showing an evolution to his wrestling. Then he fights Demetrius Johnson for the second time and beats him. Better fighter than ever. They gave him 3 more fights before fighting DJ again. Even though him and Cejudo were in different places, by the time they lost in those title fights, I think the pathway that they used for Cejudo would have been effective for Sean O'Malley as well. After losing to Merab, where O'Malley still has confidence about himself, he's working off those excuses, still giving him fuel and drive to keep going, believing that he still is the best in the world. They should have given Corey Sandhagen. And if he beat Corey Sandhagen, they give him a Jan rematch or Umar Nurmagomedov. See if he beats him too, and then give him that rematch against Merab. 100%, he would have been a way better fighter than the Sean O'Malley we saw in that second fight. Sometimes taking a step back is the best way to take 2 steps forward. He should have took a step back, fought another contender first, maybe 2 fights against contenders, so then he can move 2 steps forward, or at least it gives him a better chance to do so. I don't think he would have beaten Merab regardless, but he definitely would have a way better chance if he fought some of those other guys first and evolved from it. And it seemed like the UFC very much wanted him to be a superstar and wanted him to be champion. Maybe they believed in the injury and they believed that O'Malley wasn't at his best, so they gave him a rematch. The UFC wanted O'Malley to be champion, or at least give him the opportunity to be champion again. But now that he lost for the second time, that's probably never going to happen, and the star power goes out with it. He's still going to be a fun fighter that a lot of people enjoy, but this push that this guy is like the biggest thing in the UFC, which he never was. There's no numbers that we know of that show that O'Malley's the biggest star. He doesn't have the most social media following. He doesn't have the most views on social media whenever he's fighting, or for the embeddeds or the weigh-ins or anything like that. We don't know the pay-per-view numbers, but they've said other fights were the biggest fights of the year, not O'Malley's. And they gave O'Malley a Sphere card to headline, to inflate that superstardom of his, when really the superstar of that event was the Sphere itself. They could have put Tom Aspinall versus an actual duck in there, because an actual duck would be willing to fight Tom over Jones. That would sell 1 million buys, you know? Like, the experiment that was Sean O'Malley was a very interesting one, and I think he's still gonna be a great fighter. He's still gonna be one of the top bantamweights in the world. But now that the dust has settled and we know who the best bantamweight in the world is, we knew it even from the first fight, Merab is the best in the world, and O'Malley's just like some of the other guys. He's just like a Sandhagen, Jan, or Yadong, like all the other top contenders is where O'Malley fits in. Honestly, I don't even know if he beats any of them, but when you think back of how they built Sean O'Malley, it's very interesting. I think they did a very good job building him up early in his career, where they didn't try to throw him at the wolves right away, right? They wanted to build a highlight reel out of him. Give him guys that he's supposed to beat, uplift their statuses just enough so some of the fans would be like, okay, that's a decent opponent. Then he starches them, right? He has so many crazy knockouts, from the head kick against Jose Quinones to one of the most famous knockouts in his career that was against an out-of-prime Eddie Wineland. Then he fought Chito Vera. At the time, Chito wasn't looked at as like one of the best. He was coming off a loss to Song Yadong. Before they had a good win streak, but none of them were like notable wins. Well, he lost that fight, destroyed Thomas Almeida, styled on Chris Moutinho for an entire 3 rounds, pretending like he was dribbling a basketball and all that crazy stuff. Just a dominant performance. Annihilated Raulian Paiva. Remember when they promote him as a real guy? Like, that was O'Malley's real fight. Well, he got slaughtered as well. And then he fought Pedro Munoz, which is the only ranked fighter he's ever fought in his career. And the fight goes to a no contest. Munoz wins the only round that was scored, the first round. So he goes from a no contest against Munoz, never beat any ranked fighter ever, to fighting the #1 contender, Peter Yan, in a fight that Yan should have won. They gave O'Malley the split decision on the scorecards, but Yan should have won the fight. Now, the fight was very good and at least showed that O'Malley was on that level. He didn't deserve the #1 contender fight, but the fight was very close. Then he fights Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain wins the first round, then he gets finished in the second round. Then O'Malley gets his first title defense against Chito Vera. Now, even though it seemed like a free title defense for Sean O'Malley, it was understandable why they went to Chito, because Sterling and Merab didn't want to get in each other's way to get a title shot over the other, so they just went to the biggest fight. I believe Chito was #4 in the rankings at the time. Then O'Malley absolutely dominated him. Then he fights Merab. He loses the first fight, gets an immediate rematch, and loses again. Without being a long reigning champion, he had 1 title defense, and it was only against Cheeto. He only has 3 ranked wins in his entire career, gets an immediate rematch against Merab Dvalishvili. It gets beat and submitted in the second fight. O'Malley did not fight the best bantamweights for that long, which is concerning when he goes back to fight them again, because I don't know if he beats them, and we don't know where his confidence is at. O'Malley's a great fighter, but is he okay being just another high-ranked fighter? Is he okay being in the group of Corey Sandhagen and Song Yadong and Peter Yan and Umar Nurmagomedov? Like, is he okay just being in that group, knowing that he'll never be the best? And honestly, I don't even think he beats anybody else in the top 5. Besides maybe Song Yadong. That's my opinion. I don't think he beats Yan in the rematch. I think Umar beats him. I think Corey Sandhagen beats him. Song Yadong is an interesting fight that I think Sean O'Malley can win. But that's my opinion on that. So he's such an exciting fighter, such an entertaining style, and I don't want to see him lose after this. I don't want to see him lose to another high-ranked fighter, which I think he probably does. If he fights someone in the top 4, I think he loses to them. Those guys are all getting better, whereas O'Malley didn't seem like he got much better. So there's like fine-tuning to the same stuff that he was doing from the first fight, but there was no like big additions to his skill set. It was like his takedown defense got slightly better, and some of his precision with his punches were maybe slightly better, something like that, but nothing big to his skill set. And again, if he moves up to featherweight, I don't think he does better over there. Maybe the best next fight for Sean O'Malley is to fight like Davison Figueiredo. Someone not in the top 5. Someone outside the top 5 would probably be best for O'Malley. So those are my thoughts and opinions about Sean O'Malley. I see a lot of people talking about where does O'Malley go from here? You know, like what does he do next? Does he just... I've even seen people say that maybe he should just retire. I've seen people say that he's never going to be the same. He's going to lose to the next contenders because his confidence is shot. I've seen all of this, and some of it I agree with, some of it I disagree with, but I hope we do see at least the same Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley without the Suga show.